You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 136. I'm Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Today's guest is the founder and owner of JoCe Productions, LLC. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure we'll all be inspired by her story. Let's chop it up with Joann Ceasar. Joann, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
Glad to hear that. All is well on my end, too. First things first, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, here to talk about JoCe Productions and all the great things you're doing in business. But before we talk business, let's get to know the woman behind the brand. Born and raised in Dadeville, Alabama. What was your upbringing like?
All right, Dadeville. Woo. Shout out to Dadeville. Okay. So my experience in Dadeville, it was nice. My mother, she basically did a single parent thing. You know, my father was in the picture, like he stayed in a different state, so we would go visit. But she was the kind of person that made us feel like we were rich, but we really didn't have a whole lot. So I didn't know until later, like, oh yeah, we really didn't have a lot of those things. We didn't really weren't really on name brand and stuff like that. But from a young age, I've always been involved with the church. So we used to travel to a church like an hour away, and I wouldn't get out in the community so much, but I would like donate my time. Like me and my siblings would volunteer at like the Fishes and Loaves. So we like giving back to the community at a very early age. So other than that, my life was basically going to church and going home. And since I really didn't hang out a lot, I did a lot of creative things. So I would like sing a lot, write songs, do poetry, do crafts and stuff. So that's kind of what I did growing up in Dadeville. Because I first started in Camp Hill and then we moved to Dadeville. So I was a little bit everywhere. But yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And much respect to your mom for making way and doing what she had to do as a single mom, as you stated, holding it down and just having you all believing you were rich. And she just painted that reality for you all and then let the circumstances get to her. Love to hear those type of stories.
Yeah, she was very encouraging. Anytime if I ran for something in office in high school,
Mhm.
I mean, she had my siblings, we were all up, and I'm the oldest. And we were up working on like buttons, making buttons and stuff. I was running for office or something for the student government. So, things like that is, precious, and it's so valuable to have that experience. And when I worked with kids later in life,
Mhm.
like through different job experiences, I really got to understand and appreciate who she was at that point.
Yes, ma'am. Powerful stuff. And hey, mom was in it to win it. You was up for some
Yes.
campaign. She wasn't playing around. Love to hear it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And also read Dadeville, pretty small town. As of 2021, the population was 2,900. So I'm pretty sure everyone knew everyone in Dadeville. It was like a tight-knit village, if I had to guess.
Yes. And a lot of people knew my mama because of where she worked.
Okay.
And so they knew me because she had our pictures up. And so, yeah, maybe I didn't want to be known then, but I was known. But they was like, oh, that's your daughter. Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty close knit. They probably know my siblings a lot more. They probably know me now based on what I'm doing now in the community and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So you graduated from Dadeville High School in 2005 and you hit the road, you come to the Gump to attend the
Ooh,
Alabama
telling my
State
age now.
University. Oh, it's all good. It's all, all good. So you graduated from Dadeville High School, hit the road, and you come up to the Gump to attend the Alabama State University. What was the HBCU experience like for you?
Yes, AS, AS, ASU.
Yup.
Woo, woo. It was when I tell you how I ended up at ASU, I had applied for some stuff and they actually ended up giving me a full ride scholarship. So I was very blessed for that opportunity. So I went where the money was. I didn't know much about Alabama State prior. But I'm very glad I went. I went early for a communication. It was like a if you were in the communication media, like I was on the paper and all that stuff like that, then you could come in like a week or two earlier before school started. So I got a great opportunity to connect with a lot of people. So I had the untraditional way of starting college. So I'm happy that I had that. And then I just kept getting involved and just doing a lot of stuff. So I was very, very involved, very busy, similar to my life now. Um, so I joined a couple organizations. I joined Sigma Alpha Iota. It's a music fraternity for women. So I joined that in my second semester, I want to say. So yeah, I was just always doing things. I graduated in communications media, and I studied focus on public relations while I was there. And I actually attended the school for 3.5 years because I was on like a 4-year track, but I was able to do some classes during the summer, and I was able to expedite my process because I was tracking, my courses, and my money was about to run out. So I had to do
Mhm.
for me, okay.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
it worked out.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely understand that. You got that full ride scholarship, and to your point, the funds got a
Okay.
little low, so that sense of urgency kicked in. I feel it.
Yes. Yeah, I did not play about that. Yeah, I kept up with my whole like curriculum. So I think the teachers they enjoyed me, the advisors, because I made it real easy. I pretty much came in with all my stuff lined up and said, okay, well, I'm gonna take these courses. It was
Yes,
like, okay,
ma'am.
they need to sign off.
Hey, I love to hear it. You came to ASU with a plan and you executed that plan and got up out of there 3.5 years,
Yes.
and you said you were heavily involved and joined some organizations. And that college experience, HBCU experience, Joann, it's nothing like it. Getting a chance to
Oh,
be,
it's not.
be around your own people. You meet people from all over, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and just create those lifelong memories.
Yes, it was so diverse. And I will say it was a little bit of culture shock for me because I came from Dayville, and we already know what the population look like in Dayville. So, and the demographics. So it was different from that sense. So it for me was an eye opener. I was able to go on like a self journey of learning about myself, about my people. And so I really enjoyed, having that experience, meeting so many different Black people from so many different places, just learning about them. And when I went on a scholarship an internship one time during the summer, I only was able to do that opportunity because of Alabama State. Like they were only a sister school with Alabama State. And so when I went there, they didn't have as many Black people, and I could see how like, oh wow, this is different. But I really enjoyed my experience at Alabama State because there's so much culture there. I mean, I got to meet some legends there. I got to work with some really great people. So you're right. That experience is one that is it's unforgettable. And you cannot people underestimate what it's like going to HBCU. I feel like everyone should experience it at least once.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. That's amazing stuff. So you had a great time at ASU, built some great
Yes.
relationships, met a lot of great people. And yeah, that's the HBCU experience. Me as well. Just got a chance to meet people. Professors were cool. They were understanding. And me being from Montgomery and going to ASU, it opened my eyes up to a lot of the history that wasn't taught in the public school systems. But when I got in African humanities, and it was taught by Dr. White, and man, Dr. White was dropping so much game on us and exposing us to just Black
Yes.
history that we didn't know about. So yeah, that I definitely can attest to what you're talking about, just in terms of just that overall experience. So you go on to graduate from the Alabama State University, and present day, you are the founder and owner, creative director of JoCe Productions. What you got going on over there, services wise?
Yes. So thank you. JoCe Productions is a full service event planning company specializing in luxury designs, event designs. And I do weddings, I do anything from intimate events, small settings to very large events. I've had an event as big as like 200, but I could probably do more if I need it. I did do a quote one time for like a 600 party. So I do work with a team, I gather a team when needed. And so I really enjoy doing that because I get to be creative and I love to problem solve. So this gives me the ability to like solve all the problems. Okay. And then I always aim for like a awe moment. That wow, like, oh wow. So I always give a little extra than, what I stated I was gonna give. You always gotta give a little extra. And so I feel like I've gotten a lot of great feedback. So I guess I'm doing the right thing. but but my client, I mean, I'm very grateful. People usually do return back and they refer me. So I'm very grateful. So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I mean, that's good stuff. And I got a chance to read some of your testimonials. And to your point, you're definitely doing some great stuff because,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am. And especially when you're planning those weddings and those events like that, those are, for most people, a one-time event. So you got to get it right. So what you just talking
Yes.
about, yes, ma'am. So what you talking about being a creative and problem solver and something else, I'm pretty sure you pay attention to details. You have to pay attention to
Oh,
details
yes.
in this field that you're in. So that's great that you're able to be creative. 'Cause I know you were stating earlier that growing up you were always creative. So now you're getting a chance to do that as an adult, and now you have a business, and that's gonna be a household name here. In the
Oh,
near
yeah. Come on, somebody. Household name. Yes. Let's go and speak that into existence. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So currently right now you're located in Auburn. What has it been like living in the Auburn area?
So I was in Auburn. I actually moved to Phoenix City, but I did a
Okay.
lot of services. No, I did a lot of services in Auburn. I enjoy Auburn. I do miss it because I was able to give back there. And so I still do an annual charity event called Homemade Sweet Treats that goes back to Auburn. And we still do stuff in Auburn because that's kind of where it started because it had started in my home. And that also sparked me wanting to do the actual business of JoCe Productions because I donated the services every time, like the full planning of the event, the decoration, all of that, and getting coordination of volunteers and things like that. And so I do have that ultimate goal. I feel like the whole thing of us being here on this earth is we need to give back, right? And we can still be fulfilled by doing other things, like whatever we decide to work. But I feel like we should ultimately always give back in some way to our community, to those of us less unfortunate, because our gift, we need to share it, like what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So you made the move from Auburn to Phoenix City. So how has Phoenix City been treating you?
Phoenix City's been pretty good. I haven't had a chance to kind of get to know it as much because I was going back and forth to Auburn so much. But I'm currently in a situation now where I'm kind of now exploring like Columbus and Phoenix City area. So it's actually they've been so far been giving me a lot of love, and I'm very grateful for them. So yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Good stuff. So you Phoenix City and you still pouring into the Auburn community. And like you said, like our goal on earth should be to you didn't I'll paraphrase what you said. Like our purpose on earth should be to serve other people and pour into other
Yes,
people because by
you
serving
said it
people,
right.
serving God. I mean, seriously, like absolutely, like everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people have they're only in it for what they can get out of life and out of people. But to your point, just being a service to people, you get your blessing tenfold when you pour into others first.
You really do. You really do. I have seen it, and I feel like I say this all the time. I'm so blessed. I feel like people love me, but I also love people. So I feel like no matter what happens in my life, I'm gonna be okay.
Hmm.
And I just feel good in that. And I also feel like the talents that God gives us, they are supposed to make room for us and make us profitable. So we shouldn't have no need to ever be in need. We'll be good. We'll be all right.
Hey, y'all heard that? Y'all heard what she said? She said your gifts will make room for you, and ain't no need to be in lack. You,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So
That's
look, you
powerful
want that
stuff.
Rolls Royce, you can have
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely, for sure, for sure. So, Joann, take us back to your very first event that you booked under the JoCe Productions LLC. What was the event and the outcome?
Oh, the very first one. Let's see. I would say the first one that I did was I did it was like a I know this family friendly, but it was like a
Of course.
romance like event. So it was kind of like a dating thing that I had did. So that was probably like my first one. And then following that after I realized I wanted to do it like into a business. So then I did the homemade sweet treats was like the very second one. And from there, like I've done unofficial stuff outside of JoCe Productions. But I don't know like the first booked one because I feel like once it kind of got started, I gotta think on that one for a second.
Okay, no worries. No worries, no
You
worries.
got me going back.
No worries, all good. That's good stuff. So that actually transitions to my next portion. Whenever I have entrepreneurs, creatives on the platform like yourself, I like to talk about three things: the aha moment, action, and audacity. Take us back to your aha moment when you decided to take your creativity and your love for creating things and problem solving and turn it into a business, which became JoCe Productions.
That's a good question. I think that my aha moment was when I was helping in college and for my music fraternity, SAI, and they had picked me to be like the communications person for my line. And I was just so excited about decorating this event for like a Mellow Moods Cafe and the joy that it brought me. I feel like I was like, okay, I'm obviously very passionate about this. And so from there, that's when it kind of got birthed for me at that moment.
Okay, sounds good. So back
Yeah.
in college and just getting exposed to those different events within the organization, that's when you first had that aha moment to take your
Yes.
love for creativity and turn it into a business. So just in terms of actually coming up with a name and getting started in business, how long did it take you to get from that initial aha moment? So once you got into the motion of creating this business, how long did it take?
Oh, okay. So good one. I would say it took me a while to kind of actually make it into a business. I was doing it, but to actually establish it as a business, I think someone gave me a nickname and they called me JoCe. And because remember I told you they'll call me anything. I know earlier we talked, they call me Joann, Joanna, Joe, Jojo, whatever. And I usually don't care, but then they call me JoCe, and I was like, well, nobody called me JoCe before. I liked it because I was like, oh, well, it could be. They were looking to call me Joseph or JoSie. I was like, now it's like more luxury, so that's
Okay.
kind of how. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it had kind of cut out there real quick, but you said they were looking to call you what at first, and then you decided to make the change?
No. So at first they called me. I had got nicknamed Josie, and it was like JoSie.
Okay,
But then, and so I would use the Josie kind of like as an alter ego. You know how Beyonce got her other name, Sasha Fierce. I was
right.
like, well, I'll be Josie. Ooh, that'll be when I really. You need me to repeat it? Uh
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can always edit it. So you were
oh.
saying
Okay.
Josie is your alter ego, kind of like Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. So you just ran with it.
Yeah, that's kind of where, like, when they named me that, they gave me that nickname. So I figure I'll just, I liked it. But I just switched it from JoSie to JoCe for Joann Ceasar.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
all.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Very organic way to come up with the name, Josie
I know,
Productions.
right? And I
Absolutely.
figured someone would ask me, and then I have a story behind it. So there you go.
Yes, ma'am. Good stuff. So you had your aha moment. You took action on the aha moment to create the business. Both are great things. That last portion, audacity. It takes audacity to not only have an idea, put action behind it, but to put it out to the world to be praised or criticized. Who or what gave you that courage, that audacity?
Um, I would say first, Lord, because let me tell you, it is tough being a creative and people judging your stuff. But I would say that I had a lot of friends and family that were very supportive. And I look back on some of my stuff and I'm like, oh, y'all know y'all wrong for letting me put this out. But I have grown with my brand and perfected through the years my skills, right? And so I think what they like to see is that I keep going at it and I'm always continuously growing. So I would say having my supporters from the years, I'm grateful to even have to say that because a lot of people don't have that starting out. So God first, then my family and friends that were my biggest supporters.
Yes, ma'am. Good stuff. Of course, like you said, God first, and just hearing you talk about your family and friends, it just reminds us at all levels it takes a village, and you had a great village behind you, supporting you, encouraging you to put your brand out to the world, and that's what it takes, that village.
Yes, definitely. And funny thing is they don't even call me my name no more. Well, some of my cousins, when they see me, they say, "Hey, JoCe Productions." So that's my name now.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm that's what I'm talking about. Rocking and rolling, and hey, like that's your name now. And like I said earlier, it's soon to be a household name. So love to hear it.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much. I appreciate it. Yours too.
Absolutely. I
I
appreciate
can't
it.
wait.
I received that. Yes, ma'am. So
Yes. Also, I would like to add that my partner has been very pivotal throughout my journey with being an entrepreneur. You know, it is not easy doing that, but especially for the partners, you know, they're always the ones that have to make the sacrifices, listening to every little detail about your business. And you know, sometimes they get lost in the sauce where you're making magic. People don't really think about all the sacrifice that the partner has to do. So shout out to my partner who has been so supportive and loving, and you know, always shows up, goes above and beyond for me. And I'm just so grateful. I even get flowers at events, you know, like she spends money with all the vendors when I have like my charity event. And so I don't even have enough words to really express how grateful I am for having such a supportive partner through this journey. I could not have done it without her. So I'm very grateful.
yes, ma'am. And thank you for adding that. And hats off to your partner for supporting you and being loving and kind. Because as you said, you've been an entrepreneur in this space, full-time entrepreneur. You definitely need that support when you go home, that place of peace, that place of comfort. And I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for letting
Yeah.
me.
Yes, ma'am. You've done great things with JoCe Productions, and I know great things are coming down the pipeline, which leads to my next portion, vision. What are some of your short-term and long-term goals you feel comfortable sharing?
Oh yeah, I'm an open book, very transparent. So some of the current goals that I'm working on is just continue to refine my brand, get better, enhance my skills. So I'm taking, even though I've been doing it for a long time, I'm still taking like additional courses on like I have one that I want to sign up for, which is a floor arrangements. Even though I do them, I really want to go back and just really perfect everything that I've done because a lot of it was self taught that I've been doing. So I would like to get some formal training on some things. I did get a certification one time, but I would like to maybe get some additional certifications in event planning and just be better at what I'm doing. I've been in the game for a long time, but I'm always trying to learn because the event planning world is always growing. It's something always new. Some of my long term goals, I would like to get a venue at some point because I do have years of experience working with different venues, so I know what is needed. And so I already know how I could make good money off of that. I just need some investors, hint, hint. And then I can make that move. So yeah, and then like you said, I want to be a household name. So that is definitely a future goal. To be out there, get my brand where I want it to be, like with some celebrities. I want to do some celebrity events. So yeah, I'm putting all these things out there. Two or three in touch and agree. That's me and you right now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Those are great goals, both short term and long term. And I have no doubt you'll make them all come to fruition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. As we wrap up the podcast, Joann, I want to ask the $1 million question. I started this podcast to highlight the greatness connected to the city of Montgomery. Whether you were born here or lived here for a significant period of your life, be it college, military, or work, you living in the Gump to attend the Alabama State University. I want to ask you, Joann, what do you appreciate the most about the city of Montgomery and the role it's played in your life?
I appreciate Montgomery for the growth that it gave me, the discovery of myself, and learning about my people. The diversity in the culture is undeniable.
Yes, ma'am. A short and sweet and powerful. Nothing else needs to be added to it. Love to hear
Thank
it.
you.
Yes, ma'am. So how can the people connect with you, Joann? What are your social media handles and website?
All right. So I try to keep it simple. You can find me pretty much by typing in JoCe Productions on Facebook and Twitter. And I have a website, www.joceproductions with an S.com. And then there you can find my info. I have a virtual card I can drop to you so you can send to whomever. But I'm a lot on Facebook. I have my Facebook page and I do some videos where I share some content of behind the scenes on TikTok. And I'm still working on my Instagram, but you can find me there as well.
Yes, ma'am. Too easy. And of course, I'll put all of this information in the description of the episode. Hey, Joann, thanks again for the conversation. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what to do. Be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Go. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.